All right, so today we are going to go ahead and go over the day 4 slides for our 2020 election and voting slides. So let me go ahead and share those with you. All right, so we're going through day 4. We're going to do through slides 36 all the way to slide 42. So if you guys can make sure, right now you can just follow along on your Zoom if you want, or you can follow along. We're going to be on slide 36 right now. Slide 35 says it's election day. So today we're going to be talking about what happens on the election day. All right, so what is election day? Let me go full screen here. So on election day, the citizens get to elect or choose their leaders. Most importantly, they get to choose the next president of the United States. After the presidential candidates have campaigned all over the country, election day is held. So I just want to point out, guys, we don't only vote. So next Tuesday, like I said, next Tuesday is when we vote for who's going to be the next president of the United States. We don't just vote for the president on that day. You can vote for a lot of things on that day. You can vote for things like mayors and people who are in government, like senators and congressmen or congresswomen. You can vote on different issues. So there's things that kinds of laws or issues that people are trying to pass. So you can vote on those things as well. But obviously the big thing we're voting on next Tuesday is the President of the United States, which is why it says most importantly, okay? So we don't just vote for the president, we vote for other things too, but obviously the most important one is the leader of our country, which is the president, and that's the one we'll vote for next Tuesday, along with many other things you can vote for. All right, let's go to the next slide. It says, when is election day? So election day is on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. Election day takes place every 4 years. This year, election day is on November 3rd, 2020. The next election day will be in November of 2024, 2024. Okay, so it takes place on the first Tuesday after the first Monday. So right now it's October 28th. Next Monday will be November 3rd, or 2nd, sorry. Next Monday will be November 2nd, which will be this first Monday of November. So it will take place on the next day to the first Tuesday of November, which this year is November 3rd. Okay. So our question says, how old will you be on election day in 2024? So how old will you guys be? Think about how old you are now and what do we need to add? What number do you need to add to get your age that you'll be in 2024? You guys will be 12, so that would mean you're what age right now? You're 8 right now, yeah. So Malaya, you're 9 right now? So Malaya, you need to add 4 because we vote every 4 years. So we're going to add 4 to whatever your age you are right now. So if you're 9 right now, you need to add 4, which would mean you are going to be 13. So Brooklyn's 8 right now, so she's going to add 4, and she's going to be 12. Legacy's 8, and she's going to add 4, and that would be 12. So you guys can type a sentence in here. A sentence probably would sound like, I will be blank years old on the 2024 election day. So, yeah, I can zoom in, Chase. But you're just telling me how old you're going to be. So you guys could figure out what year you're going to first be able to vote for president, right? So if you're going to be 12 or 13 in 2024, That means 4 years after that, which would be 2028, then you'd be 16 or 17. So Malaya would be 17 in 2028. And the rest of you would be 16 in 2028. Remember, you have to be 18 to vote, okay? So the first time you guys are going to be able to vote is 4 years after 2028, which would be 2032. So in 2032 is the first time you will be able to vote for president. And most of you will be 20 then, and Malaya will be 21. So that means you guys got 12 years to go before you can vote for president. Seems like a long time, doesn't it? Your birthday is March 2nd. So Brooklyn, you're going to turn 13, or not 13, you're going to turn 9 on March 2nd, Brooklyn. Yeah. Kylan, yours is November 9th. Okay, so you're really close to, your birthday's really close to the election day. My daughter's is actually November 10th, so she's 1 day after yours. You're November 16th, Chase. Nice. Yeah, so everybody here is going to not be able to vote for president until 2032 because you have to be 18. So in 2024, most of you are going to be 12 or 13. In 2028, most of you are going to be 16 or 17. So you'll be really close to being old enough, but you won't quite be old enough. Chase was born in 2011. That makes sense. So that means in 2032, Chase, you'll be 20 years old, almost 21. November 1st is your brother's birthday. How old is your brother, Brooklyn? He's 2. So that would mean, yeah, he won't be able to vote for another 16 years. My daughter will be turning 2 on November 10th, which means she's just going to be 7 days short of being able to vote in 2040. Sunday's his birthday? Awesome. All right, so you guys fill that in. Let's go on to slide 38. Let me zoom back out a little bit. And here we go. Who can vote? Just like there are requirements to be a presidential candidate, there are also requirements to be able to vote on election day. So you have to do these things or be these things to be able to vote. First, you must be a citizen of the United States. We were all probably born here, so we're all citizens of the United States. Sometimes people come over from different countries and they want to become a citizen of the United States and they have to pass a test and then they'll be able to vote. Okay. They must be at least 18 years old. They must meet state requirements. So sometimes states require certain things, like in some states, if you have gone to jail and have a felony, you cannot vote. Okay. Or there's other requirements that the state might have. You must also be registered to vote before the deadline. So you must make sure that you register to vote. You can't just show up on election day and say, hey, I want to vote. You have to make sure that you register. Okay, there's ways to register online. Okay, so that you can vote. So why do you guys think we have these requirements to vote? Why do you think they have given these requirements to vote? What do you guys think? Why do you have to be a citizen of the United States to vote? Is that fair? Do you think everybody should be able to vote even if they're not a citizen? Why do I not come to school? Brooklyn, I think I explained this on Monday that I would be home all week. But someone at my daughter's daycare tested positive for COVID. So basically, I have to be quarantined for 2 weeks from the last day that that person worked at the daycare, which was on the 16th. So 16th plus 14 days for 2 weeks would be the 30th. Today's the 28th. So that means that I will not be able to come back to work until this Friday. So I don't have COVID. I don't have any symptoms. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say I don't have COVID. I don't know that because I haven't gotten tested. But I don't have any symptoms. Okay. My wife doesn't have any symptoms. So the concern is that my daughter could have gotten it from the daycare worker, and then my daughter could have given it to me. Okay. But I don't think my daughter has it either, but she did go to the emergency room about a week and a half ago with a really high temperature, which is one of the symptoms of having COVID. But they said at the emergency room that it was because of an ear infection. That's why she had a high fever. So we don't think she had it either, but just to be safe, right? We just want to be safe. So the health department in my county said it's best that I stay home for 2 weeks from when the person at the daycare got COVID. So again, back to our question, guys. Do you guys think these requirements are fair? Why do you think we have these requirements? I think the second one is because, yes, you have to be 18. I agree, because below 18 plus is not safe for kids to vote for any place they are going. Well, I don't think it's just because it's not safe, Malaya. I think it's because if you're under 18 years of old, you're still a child, right? You're still considered a child. You're not an adult yet. You might not have the best judgment, right? Because you don't know everything about all of the issues. I mean, your parents could teach you, right? Or they could tell you who to vote for. But then basically it's just them voting twice, right? They're just telling you who to vote for. So, it's basically just because you're not an adult yet. So that's the reason why they have that requirement, I would say. Obviously, they want you to be a citizen of the United States. It wouldn't make sense that people from other countries would be able to vote for who our president should be, right? Does that make sense? Why should we let somebody else from another country vote for our president? Okay, that doesn't quite make sense. State requirements, obviously different states have different requirements. So that one's kind of up in the air. Like, let's see, let me search here. Ohio state requirements to vote. Let's see what they say. So in Ohio, it says right here, in Ohio, I guess this is probably kind of small. Let me make it bigger. All right, to register in Ohio, you must be a citizen of the United States. So that's the one that we already have for our country. You must be a resident of Ohio for at least 30 days immediately before the election. So that basically means that if somebody moved from another state 5 days before the election, they moved to Ohio, they wouldn't be able to vote in Ohio because they'd only been in Ohio for 5 days. So you have to be here for at least 30 days. Okay. You have to be in Ohio for at least 30 days before the election to vote in Ohio. You must be at least 18 years old or on before the day of the next general election day. Okay. You must not be incarcerated, which means you must not be in jail or in prison for a felony conviction. Okay, so there's the one I was talking about. So you cannot be incarcerated, which means in jail or prison, for a felony conviction. You must not be found incompetent by a court for purposes of voting for a probate court. You must not be permanently disenfranchised for violations of election laws. So there's a couple extra ones there. Basically, you can't violate the laws of the election. Or you must not be found incompetent, which means basically that you I don't know the nice way to say this. Incompetent means you just don't know what's going on, basically. Okay. All right. So why do we think we have these requirements to vote? I would say we have these requirements so that What's a good way to say this? We have these requirements so that trying to think of a good way to say this again. We have these requirements so that people who vote make good decisions, I guess. I think it's an okay way to say it. I don't have the perfect answer here. But I think we want the people who are voting to make smart decisions, right? And we want the people who vote to be part of our country. We want them to be old enough and mature enough to make the right decisions, to make smart decisions. We want to make sure they register to vote. Okay, because we don't just want people showing up that aren't registered. All right, guys, I'll give you a couple minutes to write that down. What do we do with this? We're writing down the answers to the questions on the slides, Brooklyn. On slide 38 right now. We already did slide 37 where we wrote about how old we would be on election day. Now we're doing slide 38 where we're writing down if we think why we think we have these requirements to vote. What you have in your hand. Oh, you mean what Ms. Vellante gave to you? Oh, your supplies? Is that what you're talking about? Supplies are just for you to use at home when we're doing remote learning. The stuff in the folder will just be stuff we're going to do throughout the next quarter. You don't need to work on any of it until I give you directions to. Next one is where we're going to vote. All right. Does anybody need more time to write down their answer? Chase, you're really focused on this assignment, huh, with that PS4 controller in your hand? No more time? All right, sweet. Let's move on. We got 4 slides left. We'll get this done, get you guys out of here. All right, so where do people vote? Where do people vote? On election day, many people will go to a polling place to vote. They are often held in schools, libraries, community centers, or other public buildings. Here, people can either vote by using a voting machine, or they can mark their choice on a form called a ballot. People can even mail in their ballot ahead of time as well. So guys, I voted 4 years ago. I went to a church that was close to me. That's where my polling place was. Okay, Chase. So my polling place the last time I voted was at a church. Okay, and I filled it out on a ballot, which is just a piece of paper, and they give you the choices and you fill in with a pencil, kind of like you're doing a test almost. Okay, how did I vote? I went to the church and I got a ballot. They gave me a ballot. I showed them my ID, right? My driver's license with my name on it and my picture and my birthday, so they knew it was me, right? And then they gave me the ballot, and you go to like a station where they have like things that separate you, right? So that way people aren't looking at each other, okay? And you fill in who you're going to vote for. Who did I vote? Well, I voted for a lot of different things. So I voted for the president. I voted for, I think there was senators and congressmen. There was different issues. Like there's usually like schools are trying to pass levies, which gives them more money to do things. So I voted on a lot of different things. All right, let's go on to the next slide. Well, Brooklyn, back then it was not Trump or Joe Biden. Those weren't the choices. There were other choices. So when you guys get to vote, you'll see there's lots of different choices for president. Because remember about our third parties, okay? How are votes counted? So after the last voter has voted, the election ballot boxes are sealed and sent off to be counted at a different location. For the votes that were done on a digital voting machine, the digital information will also be sent to a counting facility. The votes can take a long time to be counted, as some are counted by hand and some are counted through a machine or a scanner. So guys, like I said, next Tuesday, if you are able to stay up late, right, you'll be able to watch the votes, you won't be able to watch the votes being counted, but you'll see on the TV, they'll keep showing information about, in this state, so much percentage of the votes have been counted, and here's who's winning, okay? So it's going to take a long time. Usually, I don't remember last year how late it was or not last year, 4 years ago. I don't remember how late it was when they finally figured out who the winner was, but I think it probably was like 10 or 11 at least before all the votes got counted, or most of the votes got counted, okay? So, yeah, I mean, it takes a while, right? So that's why it says the votes can take a long time to be counted, as some are counted by hand and some are counted through a machine or a scanner. It says counting votes through a machine seems a lot easier. Why do you think not all votes are counted this way? Why do you think they don't use a machine for all of the votes? You stay up until 1, so you might get to see it, Chase? Well, you might. The machine will be too full and then it won't be enough room. Okay. I'm going to actually, I don't think I 100% know the answer to this question. Yeah, Malaya, of course you can guess. And there's no wrong answers here. I'm not even sure I know the answer to this question. I'm going to search for why are votes hand counted? Yeah, that's what I figured. So why are not all votes counted by machine? Here's an article from 2 days ago. How battleground states process mail ballots and why. All right. I didn't want videos to play. I don't know why that happened. All right, I'm not finding good answers. So I think a couple of things here. All right, there can be problems with machines, right? If you guys have ever used your Chromebook, right? Sometimes you have problems with it. Sometimes things don't work the way you want them to. So if we use machines for everything, some of those machines might not work the way we want them to. Maybe because some people live somewhere and stayed there for 30 days. I don't know. That's all right, Malaya. So I think one of the reasons is, people who do paper ballots, they turn them in, whatever. Those ballots have to be hand counted, right? Because a machine can't read those kinds of ballots. Okay. So that's one reason. Second reason, like I said, machines don't always work exactly the way we want them to. Sometimes they do things wrong, or they're broken, right? So, of course, people can count things wrong too, but there's different reasons why we choose different things. So I'm going to skip writing down the answer to this question just to save us some time. So we're going to skip that one. You guys don't need to write anything down there. Just know that some ballots are counted by hand and some ballots are run through a machine. All right, the results. Let's go to the page. Next slide. It says, Counting votes can take several days, but it is pretty clear the morning after Election Day who the next president will be. All right, so this says the morning after we'll find out, but I'm pretty sure you will find out that night too. Many people will watch the news on Election Day to see which states have counted their votes. If the Democratic candidate won that state, the state will turn blue on the map. If the Republican candidate won the state will turn red on the map. So we talked about that yesterday. All right. Here is what it says. Reflection for day 4. Over 71 million people watched the election results in the year 2016. Will you watch this year's election results? Why or why not? So I'll let you guys answer this question on your own. Tell me, will you watch this year's election results and why or why not? You guys can type it in on your